Oh, a man in his car. I bet every one of you has had some experience in your life that you associate with some car, or you've had a car in your past that you were real fond of, or maybe, such as the case is with me, maybe it was a downright love affair with an old automobile. For me, that love affair for a 1963 Chevy Impala began when I was 16 years old. I was looking for a car. I needed a high school car. These guys had one. It had been a 409 car, a 409 Impala, and they had just destroyed it. Man, they had just run the wheels off of that thing. And then they pulled the 409 out, kept that, threw a little old beater 283 in there and sold it to me for $400. But boy, it was still an Impala, and it was still a two-door. Now, it wasn't an SS like the one I have today, but man, what an automobile. My neighbor kind of took a liking to me, and he had a body shop, and he let me do some of the body work on it, and taught me how to do a little bit of sanding, and he painted it for me. Didn't charge me anything. And I tell you what, this old hillbilly was in tall cotton, boy, and it was red too, just like this one. Had a white top. It had been a white car. I kept the white top. I don't know why, but you know, you don't always make the best decisions when you're 16 years old, and sometimes even when you're older, in my case. But anyway, you know, when I was riding in that Impala, listening to those old glass packs rumble, and got one arm around my girlfriend and the other hand on that suicide knob on the steering wheel, looking out over that long hood, boy, that old car was just an extension of my fine body. Well, the old body's not so fine anymore, but when I get in that 63 Impala and head down the road, that 16-year-old boy comes alive again. Yep. Something about a man in his car. Buckle up and hang on. Let's see what's going to happen next around here.
We're going to shoot over and pick up old Waylon Wire over there. He does some cool stuff.
Hey, welcome to Rat Rodding. My name's Waylon Wire, and don't ever do what we do here on this channel. Alright guys, welcome back to Waylon Wire's Old Iron. You know, we're trying to get this old 1963 Chevy ready for a road trip. The last time I took her out, we did 7,149 miles. Didn't have any major incidents, had a brand new shock come apart. But due to this YouTube thing, kind of have a buddy everywhere I go, you know, with a shop, and can take care of little things like that. It's amazing, this community. So I went down to see a hairy-legged old rat rodder down in Georgia. And we pulled that shock out, and I put one of Waylon Wire's little tack welds on it. It ain't gonna come apart again. I ain't worried about this trip. So yeah, doing a few things on the old car, as you'll see here. And all right, let's get into it. Well, it sure is a beautiful day here on the eastern slopes of the Cascade Range here in north central Washington. I've got to shuffle some rigs around before I go. Continuing to get the Impala ready for the trip. I got a couple little issues I want to look into, and I'll get to that here in a little bit. But yeah, I need to move some rigs around, put that one under cover out there, and in case it rains while I'm gone, which is very, very unlikely this time of year, but we could get a little sprinkle. And yeah, but first I got to take care of a few domestic chores around here. I got to mow the yard, and then I got to get on the tractor and go down and mow along the driveway. And then we'll get that Impala in the other bay, and I'll show you a couple things that I've done to it and a couple things I'm going to do to it before I hit the road. Coming up real soon. gotta shuffle some rigs around. I don't know if this thing will run. I was really hoping to give it some attention, you know, before I left on my trip, but that's not gonna happen, I don't think. Well, just getting your car up in the air, getting ready to go over a few things. Gonna just change the oil, and I've been checking the wheel bearings, and I've got a couple of little issues. My dash lights are not working. I suspect a fuse. Gotta look into that. When I hit the brakes really hard the other day, well, the rear brakes locked up, skidded, screeched. Don't remember dealing with that on my last trip. So I need to look into that. I can't find any adjustment on the proportioning valve. I put this all in as a kit. It all came as a kit when I put the front disc brakes on it, but I'm glad I did. I'm satisfied they saved me from hitting a deer along about dusk down there on a back Arkansas road one night. They jumped out in front of me, and without any warning, and I locked them up. And it may have skidded a little bit on the back, I don't know, but I just want to make sure there's not one brake grab, and I'll take a look at the brake shoes, you know, just see what I got. Got some detailing to do on the lower portion. Like I said, I don't wax all this thing on. I don't wax this whole car all at one time. It's too much. So I've got the top done, and I'm going to detail the sides out and clean up my wheels, polish them up. But yeah, other than that, you know, I'm going to pick up some new belts and hoses, and these have only got 7,000 miles on them. I got an extra hose in the trunk, but that's what I want. I want extra belts and hoses in the trunk. So I'm going to buy some new ones and put those on, and these are in good condition, and I'm going to throw them in the trunk and take them along with me, just in case, you know. Better never knows now, does he? Wouldn't it be nice? Do you remember how many times you've been broke down on the road because the fan belt broke? You didn't have one. You had to take your wife's belt, make one, you all been there. You know, I watched a guy on YouTube prove that this is not necessary. And he had a lot of science behind it. Did a real scientific study. And I believe it because, you know, nowadays you got engines that have the filter that screws on sideways, and you can't put oil, you can't prime it, or at least can't get much in it. And then some of the newer Subarus I know have the filter upside down on the engine. That's great. But his proof was that oil hit just as fast with the empty filter as it does with a full one. But he wasn't testing a 1963 Chevy 327. So I'm still going to prime my filter, whether it's right or not. It's the right thing for me to do. So 8,000 miles ago, I rebuilt the whole front suspension on this thing. A-arm bushings, ball joints, tie rod ends, idler arm, pitman arm, everything. And so there's new grease coming out of everything that I see here, but I'm going to go ahead and just give it a little once over with grease, because I know some of y'all are going to be jealous, but I have ball joints that have grease zerked on them. How about that? So, yeah, I'm going to give it a little grease job, but I'm going to do it judiciously. But it can't hurt. Boy, it's tight, but it seems like I can get just a little something out of this one that I can't get out of the other side. I think I'm going to pull this off and see if I can tickle that outer wheel bearing just a little bit. Well, I'll keep an eye on that and see if it gets hot or anything. I was able to back that off a little bit. I feel better about that. But I still took it up on one notch. Okay, that's gone, but it's not too tight. I like that. Happy with that. I want to take a look at these brakes. Well, things don't look too bad. No scoring at all on these drums, but there was a lot of powder in there. A lot of fiber. I don't know, these shoes look good. I think they're good for another trip. Well, let's get it up in the air and just give it a good look over. A look over on the under. Folded the brim. This thing's got one noisy lifter in it. I've told that story. I'm not going to tell it again. Power valve just whines, and it does just exactly what it's supposed to do. Well, this old motor's not very pretty, but boy, it does a good job. And you know, it's not a trailer queen. This thing don't just sit on a trailer. The door's locked. You know, we get out and drive this thing. But I'm gonna, in spite of how ugly that is, I'm gonna kind of clean up the engine bay a little bit. I got some sagging hoses here. They're supposed to go up there and they won't stay in that thing, and I gotta do something about that. And reroute this cable up where it's supposed to be. Got a broken strap back there. Should have ordered a new one, but too late now. Probably. Anyway, I'm gonna clean up in here, tidy up in here a little bit. Well, I kind of tidied things up a little bit. It's, you know, it's not a show car. It's a road car, but I got my cables straightened out and got the hose straightened out and kind of wiped dust off of things in there. You know, I was waxing nostalgic about this old car, contemplating the romance of the open road. I put a call into the guy that's going with me, and he put it all in perspective for me. He said, yeah, two old men, both with heart conditions, driving across the United States in a 60-year-old car. What could possibly go wrong? Thanks, Frank. Okay, fellers and fellerettes, as some of you know, in 1963, the GMC V6s, the 305, had plaid valve covers. They had this tartan, and I had some material specially printed to do the upholstery in the Dirty Dozen, which is sporting those valve covers off of 63 305 engines. And then Balin Wire, he got some of this material and he commissioned his mom to make shirts for us. So you will know me at the Power Tour events because whatever I'm wearing that day, I'm going to slip this on over the top of it and we'll see you out there. We should be pretty easy to spot, don't you reckon?
At the end of a long, long, lonesome day, there are bright lights and taverns where broken hearts pay. At the end of your lifetime, when you've drawn your last breath, at the end in a grave where there's only
You know, back in 1963, these old cars didn't have any drink holders. They had 27 ashtrays, but they didn't have any drink holders. So the last time I drove this thing across the United States and back, I had to keep the console lid open all the time, and it's a big one, and I had to dig a little hole here and all this stuff. And there's my flashlight, screwdriver, fire extinguisher. You know, a few essentials. But I had to dig a little hole right there to set my drink cup, and that was kind of a pain, you know. But ran across this thing on Amazon. Let me get you set up here so I can show it to y'all. What you done up and went and did was you take your ashtray out like that. You fit this little unit on here. And goes over the handle first and then down in there. And then you put your ashtray back in. Check that out. A jingle, that's Frank's set of keys right there. Had some keys made today. But that's going to be real handy. I don't have to keep this console open all the time. How about that? Well, I'm going to put these tools away. Clean up shop a little bit here. And then I'm going to start putting together a toolkit to go in the trunk of this thing. Yeah, just a few things. You know, I'm not going to take my whole shop like I did last time. Man, I took floor jacks and jack stands, and I took about everything except the lift. I had all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I didn't use it, you know, but I'm gonna take a few things, you know. And a lot of things are easy to fix if you got a few tools. So, yeah, that's next. Well, just putting together a few bare necessities. Probably way more than I need, but I'd rather have it and not need it than not have it and wish I did. You know, both bays in the shop are full. Both bays in that shed over there are full. This shed's full, and I still can't get everything under cover. You know, that's just a sign from God right there that I need to put up a couple more buildings. I don't know if y'all can see that, but the little car in the back's got a Whalen Wire YouTube sticker in the back window. Well, I guess the old girl's about as ready as she's gonna get. I still gotta load up some tools in the trunk. That trunk will be sagging a little bit. Not as bad as last time though. I'm gonna leave the lift home this time, but I guess she's about ready to go. We'll find out. Stay tuned. Hope y'all will join me on this journey. Sure would be fun to have y'all go along. Hey, that's gonna do it for this one. And next time we see you, I hope we see you on Power Tour. I hope that's the next time I see you. If not, there'll be videos of this journey, and y'all can catch up with me there. And you can also catch up with the journey and upcoming videos, I suppose. I'll probably be posting some shorts along the way. Just to kind of let people know how things are going, and if I need any help, if I'm broke down somewhere. By the way, just go ahead and put in the comments how many of you think I'm going to break down, and you know, just put in there, yeah, he's going to make it, or no, he's going to break down, that old flivver. All right, I think that's about it. I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy day once again to watch one of my silly little old videos. It means a lot to me. We'll see you next time right back here on Whalen Wire's Old Iron. You know the deal. I sure do appreciate you.